Jumbo. On Mind, Body and Soul, beating stress with an ancient tradition. Spring into action with clinical Pilates and the vegetarian road to health. But first, plugging into naturopathy in the age of information. Too busy and stressed out to take better care of yourself? Now you have no excuse. Naturopathy has entered the cyber age thanks to naturopath homeopath Carol J. Toms. When people think of naturopathy, computers are the last things that spring to mind. But Carol wakes up every morning and checks her email to see if there's anybody out there needing her help, which she delivers to them online. Carol says there are many people who would love to visit a naturopath, but who can't for various reasons. People are run into the ground these days and just can't find the time. So Carol came up with this innovative way to put naturopathy within easy reach of everyone. A patient can consult one-on-one with Carol over the net in her cyber clinic or do a basic self-health assessment using Carol's questionnaire. Carol recommends medicines to online patients, and these are available for purchase via mail order. You can pick up 11 healthy tips which will leave you feeling great, or educate yourself on little understood health dilemmas such as Candida, which all of us consuming a Western diet should be well aware of. There is also valuable information for those preparing for pregnancy and those going through menopause or suffering from premenstrual tension. Carol is also willing to share her extensive knowledge of dream interpretation with people all over the world, saying that dreams always hold a clue to the things that are going on in our lives right now. So if you've ever wanted a naturopathic consultation but are too busy or isolated to find a practitioner, check out Naturopathy online and let Carol lend you a healing hand. You've heard of laughter groups. Now it seems people are getting together in the community in healing circles of a different sort. Drumming is taking off all over the planet as the latest form of relaxation and therapy. And some hardcore scientific studies are providing backup to this time-honoured tradition. Drumming has existed in indigenous cultures around the planet for thousands of years. Cultures in North, Central and South America, the Caribbean, Africa, Australia and Asia have all used drumming in community events and rituals, and most importantly, in healing. Anthropologists say that shamanic healing techniques may have existed for as long as 20,000 years. Now, modern science is catching up. A recent set of studies have shown that different drumming rhythms have a positive effect on children suffering from autism. The children aged between 6 and 12 years showed signs of immediate calming when subjected to specific rhythms, the calmness lasting up to a good 6 hours. The more frequently the children listened to the drumming during the 8-week study, the more effective it was. 3 times a week was needed to see sustained results. So, how does it work? Scientists have discovered that repetitive external rhythms have an effect on your body and brain's internal rhythms. You can encourage your brain to move into a stress-free theta or alpha brainwave pattern just by listening to the beat of a drum. 4 beats per second will have you meditating as deeply as the Dalai Lama in no time. Different rhythms have different effects on emotions, pain levels, nervous system function, and organ function. Cancer patients are using drumming in some medical centres throughout the US as it boosts the immune system. The last thing you'd want to do when you have a bad headache is listen to loud noise, but ironically, drumming can eliminate migraines too. And viruses run for cover at the sound of a beating drum. So if you have an illness to beat, as well as taking your medication, why not grab your rhythm sticks and ride the waves to wellness? Join your local drum circle. Pilates has been the movement of the moment for quite some time now. Appearing as if out of nowhere in Hollywood a couple of years ago, the unique form of exercise has taken the world by storm. But this is not just another flash-in-the-pan trend. Actually, Pilates has been around for over 80 years. Joseph Pilates devised the exercise regime using stretchers and springs to help rehabilitate people injured in World War I. His exercises seemed to hasten the recovery of patients. Today, Pilates is making its way back into the rehabilitation arena. These young physiotherapists are being taught a revised form of Pilates. Recent research into spinal stability has shown that this form of exercise is essential for the reconditioning of the spine, particularly the lower back. Some of the original exercises have been cut from the regime as research can't support their efficacy. What's left over is a set of proven effective exercises now known as clinical Pilates. Craig Phillips, head of Dance Medicine Australia, is making sure the students are rigorously trained in the fundamentals of clinical Pilates before venturing out into the workplace to deal with real patients. Pilates differs from more conventional forms of exercise in a number of ways. Firstly, there is an emphasis placed on conditioning the muscles surrounding the torso and back. These muscles are called core muscles, and core strength is essential if a stable frame for the body is to be created. Arms and legs work more efficiently if they are attached to a stable base. Another important factor that sets Pilates apart from other forms of fitness, such as weightlifting and gym work, is that strength and strengthening of the muscles is secondary to the reconditioning of the neural pathways connecting muscle movement to the brain. Research has shown that due to injuries, the body employs cheat mechanisms to cope with the strain placed on certain muscles. As a muscle becomes injured, it either becomes long and weak or short and tight. To compensate, the brain employs the help of extra muscles surrounding the injured one to complete the movement task. Over-recruitment, as this is called, can lead to all sorts of pain later on. Because we do certain movements every day, we cease to feel or register the impact it is having on our muscles. So when we go to exercise, we tend to put too much stress on our muscles so that we can feel the muscle being worked out. Pilates remedies this with body awareness. The students keep tabs on each other's progress as they trial some of the exercises. They make sure the person on the stretcher-like machine is using their back correctly. Springs at the base of the machine can be attached or released to adjust the tension. Remember, the emphasis is not on strengthening. Traditional Pilates used floor work first, and then the patients graduated to using the machines. Clinical Pilates knows that using machines first is key to redeveloping the brain and muscle connection. Only when you are proficient on the machines can you graduate to doing floor exercises at home. Simple mid-range movements on the machines are repeated hundreds of times to make sure a definite pathway using the correct muscles is laid down in the brain. Over time, this correct movement will become second nature to the patient. Hopefully, the patient will begin to use the correct muscles when he employs this movement to perform everyday tasks. Breathing is key to any form of exercise, whether it be yoga or aerobics. Craig stresses the importance of breath to his class. The correct employment of the diaphragm is crucial to stability and balance. Back pain is a looming problem in Western countries. As the baby boomer generation grows older, lower back pain is becoming very common. Governments are worried about escalating healthcare costs. Pilates is being used by professional health practitioners to put the brakes on back pain. It seems there is beauty and brains in the world of vegetarianism. Albert Einstein expounded great universal truths, and Christy Turlington walked up a storm on the runway. Liv Tyler, a vegetarian, is all peace-loving and mung beans, but then again, Hitler never ate a morsel of meat either. The vegetarian lifestyle is becoming increasingly popular, and you don't have to wear your hair in braids to enjoy it. So what's the big deal about the veggie meal? It appears those of us stuck to the meat menu are at higher risk of obesity, coronary artery disease, hypertension, diabetes mellitus, and lung and colon cancer. If that's not enough to tear you away from the divine taste of bovine, many vegos argue animal rights, environmental issues, and world hunger as good enough reasons to forego the fowl and forget the fish.
Obviously it's a compassionate lifestyle, it's good for animals, it's good for animal welfare, it's also very good for human health as well. Vegetarians have a reduced risk of premature mortality or dying early from cancer and heart disease. They're the two major killers in the West, and vegetarians reduce their risk by 40% from cancer and 30% reduced risk of premature mortality from heart disease.
But what about nutrition? It is possible to get all of your essential amino acids, in other words, all the materials you need to rebuild your cells with, from plants. But you must be hyper-vigilant about eating a wide variety all day, every day. Vegos need to take particular care of their iron and calcium intake, and may also need more zinc, vitamin D, and B12. Vegetarianism is a complicated business and needs to be done well on a daily basis. But the fruits of your efforts will be rewarding.
It's not about converting people, it's about celebrating the vegetarian lifestyle and vegetarian food and saying, hey, look at us, you know, we're not all pale and unhealthy looking, and I mean, I've got twice as much energy, which is really strange since I became vegetarian.
Daryl Hannah, star of Kill Bill, credits her excellent blood pressure and cholesterol levels to 3 decades of vegetarianism and daily exercise. Daryl is currently convincing women to take better care of their heart health. Heart disease is the biggest killer of women in the US. So if you've been diagnosed with coronary artery disease or high cholesterol, it may be time to move away from meat and become a happy herbivore. A vegetarian diet is scientifically proven to reverse the damage of clogged arteries and give you a better chance at leading a more active, healthy lifestyle. Why waste hours at the gym exercising all your muscle groups individually when there is a faster way to get results and burn copious calories? Rowing has been the sport of choice among the upper class for 2,000 years, ever since the Greeks invented the long oar and threw their paddles away. Now rowing is enjoyed by all as a super efficient way to get fit. Just ask French woman Maud Fontenoy as she embarks on a grueling 8,000-kilometre rowing expedition from Peru to Tahiti. Rowing is unique to other sports in that it works almost every muscle group in the body all at once. So Maud will have to stock up on food for the journey because this form of exercise makes you ravenous, burning an intense 1,035 calories per hour. What makes this sport so unique among other high-intensity workouts is its low impact on joints. But special care must be taken with your rowing technique. Keeping the back straight as you lean forward and keeping the hands and arms low are key to staving off injury. People with light asthma may benefit from a light row as it conditions the breathing accessory muscles. But of course all that leaning and stretching should be avoided if you're pregnant or have back, neck or shoulder pain. And such a rigorous workout as this should be avoided if you have a heart problem, needless to say. But for the rest of us, rowing can tone us up and condition our cardiovascular system with a mere half hour a day. And half an hour a day will do me fine. Maud's journey across the Pacific will take her a lonesome 5 months to complete. Never mind the aching muscles. That would be one heck of a mental workout. Argentina is fast discovering that nothing quite beats the freshness and quality of homegrown produce. Struggling with a failing economy and resultant hunger, Argentinians are taking matters into their own hands by setting up community gardens. Fruit, veggies, chickens and eggs abound in this Epicurean landscape. Everyone pitches in to get the job done. Gardening methods are wholly organic. Only fruit peelings are used as fertilisers. Definitely no chemicals allowed. Nearly 3 million people live off the produce from about 500,000 community gardens across the country. They run on volunteer power and good old-fashioned hard work. The government pitches in too with a little bit of funding, which goes into hiring technicians who teach organic farm techniques. These chickens live off the refuse of the garden. Everything has its role. Clay ovens are built for bread baking, saving much money on gas and providing everyone with warm, savoury sustenance. Argentina's economic situation has been dire for the past couple of years. What once was a nation considered the food bowl of the world in terms of beef and grain has been reduced to a nation where 1 in 4 children go hungry. More than 3 million people are now below the poverty line. These community gardens are proving to be the saving grace of the nation. Neighbourhood groups, bartering and co-ops are all springing up as a result of these prolific patches. But perhaps the best thing about eating your own homegrown produce is the final product, where all the ingredients are whipped into some nourishing, flavoursome culinary delight. At the end of the day, everyone gets to enjoy the fruits of their labour. Recycling is great for the environment, right? Not in this case. Computer recycling is contaminating workers with a devastating concoction of chemicals, according to Greenpeace. No, when a computer dies, it doesn't go to that big computer graveyard in the sky. Chances are it comes here to be stripped of usable parts and then burned. Hundreds of tons of useless computer waste are dumped here from all over the world every year. Unfortunately, the poor workers, including children, inhale noxious lead, mercury and cadmium fumes. Burning red eyes are a common complaint, but that's the least of the health dangers according to experts. Greenpeace scientists say the air and soil at these sites is highly contaminated. Workers dip circuit boards and cables into plastic containers of acid to dissolve the copper and silver elements. The acid is often dumped down the drain. Old computer monitors are coated with lead powder and labelled reconditioned on the second-hand market. The workers are indeed dealing with deadly substances. Heavy metals can be toxic to the nervous system and retard the intelligence of growing children. There is also a cumulative danger for the kidneys over time. Greenpeace says the computer industry needs to look at ways of taking back responsibility of recycling its products and start using eco-friendly materials to build PCs and corporate machines. The planned obsolescence of new models, which become redundant not long after they hit the market, is another contributing factor to the large amounts of computer garbage taking over the planet. Speedy communication and convenience at the cost of good health and a clean planet? That does not compute. Finally, rural Cambodians are cooking with gas. A simple cup of tea used to mean foraging far and wide for firewood until the biodigester came to town. This part of Cambodia is renowned for its harsh living conditions. Pouring with rain one minute, sweltering with humidity the next. In this village, north of Phnom Penh, life is basic. Walking into the kitchen is like taking a step back in time. But recently, the 30-household village has entered the world of modcons. Kitchen cooking is now done with gas at the convenient turn of a tap. Cooking with gas may not sound like much to you and I, but these Cambodians are not only entering the world of convenience, they are doing it with conservational style. Just a few months ago, Li Lang had to burn firewood to cook her family's daily meals. Unfortunately, wood for burning has become such a scarce resource in rural Cambodia that Li Lang would have to walk 17 kilometers foraging for fuel. To return home empty-handed meant having to raid her family's savings to buy charcoal. Gas on tap is a welcome change for Li Lang. But it's where the gas comes from that is the true marvel. The family's livestock are at the bottom of it all. Cattle and pig dung are tipped into a channel along with human effluent. It's mixed with water and stirred. Then the raw material is placed into a 10-metre-long plastic digester tube that's sunk into a trench. Waste plus water plus heat produces gas. The methane gas is siphoned off via a PVC pipe and makes its way to the village houses, where it's stored in a big plastic reservoir. Sounds like a rather smelly way to cook dinner, but in actual fact, the gas is completely odourless. The non-governmental organisation behind the new Clean Fuel Initiative is intent on making rural Cambodians self-sufficient in the installation process and maintenance of the systems. Not only are clean air and convenience byproducts of the biogas system, but the leftover effluent makes excellent manure for growing vegetables. The biogas systems are extremely cost-efficient to set up. $100 is all that's needed. An Australian aid organisation is providing funding for the Biodigester initiative. Hopefully, more villagers will be able to experience a meal cooked with environmentally friendly gas in the not-too-distant future, saving money and laying hard work to rest. Li Lang is just happy that her pots and pans remain brighter and cleaner, and she doesn't have to trek 17 kilometres a day. Join us again on Mind, Body and Soul as we discover more paths to health and happiness. But for now, Dominique gives us some food for thought.
Take a moment right now to become conscious of your breath. Don't alter your breath in any way. Just notice the breath moving in and out of your body right now. The simple act of becoming conscious of your breath helps to ground your awareness in the present moment. Feel the shift in yourself as you bring your attention from the outside to the inside.